only.
Hey, what's going on, guys? If you don't already know who I am, my name is Ryan Shipley, and over the past year, I've been able to do something that not that many people can say that they've done, but a lot of people wish that they could do, and that's I've been able to completely transform my physique in a pretty short period of time. Now, not a radically short period of time, not like I've been able to change my physique within like 6 months or something, but in just a little bit over a year, I went from being very skinny, pretty scrawny, to having put a significant amount more muscle mass on my frame. So the video that I'm making for you today is going to be giving you a step-by-step breakdown to how I was able to transform and change my body in a short period of time. A lot of people overcomplicate fitness and they overcomplicate reaching a fitness goal. It's really not that hard. There's going to be a few basic components that I'm going to cover in the video, but if you just take action on these and you stick to that for the next 6 to 12 months, like, you are going to see progress and you're going to see significant progress. I'm going to be breaking down today's video into 3 major sections. So I'm going to start off first by discussing what it actually takes to bulk. So the steps and the techniques that you're going to want to implement in order to see those changes and those shifts in your physique. Secondly, I'm going to be diving into what you shouldn't do, because it doesn't matter if you do everything right. If you're doing a lot of things wrong, then you're still not going to be getting the results that you want to get to. And then lastly, I'm just going to be going into my experience in fitness and my experience going through this transition, and that can also make this journey easier for you. So before I get into how to actually bulk and how to maintain that muscle, I want to ask you why it is that you are wanting to go on this journey to begin with, because being able to change your physique and being able to accomplish any goal in life, it's more than just it has to be more than just a goal. It has to be something that you are committed to, especially something like this. Like, it's going to take a lot of discipline and sacrifice for you to be able to see a change and see significant changes in your life. So it's important that you know what your why is, because in order for anybody to be successful, you can't just look at a goal and be like, okay, cool, this is a goal and I want it. You have to be willing to work towards that goal, and not only that, you need to have a strong why or a reason that's going to get you out of bed in the morning. Don't get me wrong, you will get to the point on this journey, I'd say probably about 2 months in. I say 1 to 2 months in, where literally the progress that you're going to see in the gym is addicting. It becomes almost like a video game where you're grinding to level up, and you see your abs coming in, you see those delts popping, and like, it just becomes addicting at that point. But you need to be able to push past that initial like painful period where you're going to the gym, you're coming back, you're sore, you're force feeding yourself, you're not really seeing a ton of progress. But trust me, if you can just push through that, if you can find a strong enough why as to why you want to make this change in your life, the results will eventually come to you. So how do you actually go about bulking? Well, I'm going to break this down actually into several components as well, so you can almost call these like subpoints. So the first component of bulking is exercise. I think this is like a given. Like, most people, when they think, oh, like, I want to put on muscle, or like, I want to bulk, they'll know that they have to exercise. But you'd be surprised how many people like don't do it right. So when you exercise, you're gonna want to basically do a couple things. You're gonna first want to focus very heavily on your compound movements. So when you're bulking, if that is your legs, you're looking at squats, you're looking at deadlifts, you're looking at all of those heavy compounds where you're able to put a lot of weight on the bar. For upper body, that is going to be exercises such as your shoulder press, such as your bench press, things where you're able to load up pretty heavy and engage a good variety of muscle groups. By doing heavy compounds, you're going to be able to build muscle significantly faster than if you don't push your limits when it comes to these movements. You're also going to want to include isolation movements, because while heavy compounds are good, you will be able to build muscle with them, but you also need to be able to really go to higher rep ranges. So that means like, rep ranges between 12 to 15, and target very specific and individual muscle groups as well. Always be incorporating progressive overload. So progressive overload means that you are always pushing harder than last time. So whether that means, you're adding more weight to the bar, that means you're doing more reps. Like, there can be a couple different ways that you can look at progressive overload, but you should never be going to the gym and just lifting the same weight, or just doing the same things. Like, you can even, I've seen people like keep a log of it. I've never kept a log of it, but I've heard that people do that, and I've seen people do that. And if that helps you with just your mental organization, I'd say go for it. And just track the weights that you're lifting, you know, on all of your compounds, on your isolations as well, your rep ranges, just so you can not only know that you're progressing, but see that progress on a paper as well. For a lot of people, they won't know where to actually get started with their workouts. People like me, I don't really have to think through what I'm gonna do when I go to the gym, just because I'm so used to my routine. But I remember when I was first starting, I had no idea what the different machines meant. I had no idea what to do with them. So my recommendation for you would be look up a couple of resources online. I will be putting out content, you know, in the future about, you know, what workouts you can do that are going to be able to give you results. But one great resource that I really like is a Instagram account by the name of Christian Fleenor. This guy is incredible. He posts basically like the easiest to comprehend and follow beginner like swipe Instagram workouts, and they're all pretty solid, and he categorizes them based off of different muscle groups. And so if you want to do that, that's great as well. If you want to go kind of the more scientific route, look up this guy on YouTube called Jeff Nippard. He's also amazing, and he'll explain to you a lot of the science behind building muscle better than I could, to be honest. And then lastly, in terms of the exercise part, you want to be on a good proper split. I recommend push-pull legs. There's a lot of different splits you could be on, but push-pull legs allows you to hit all of these muscle groups, allows you to hit back, chest, and legs, and you know, every other muscle group twice per week. So when you have a goal to be as aggressive as possible, you're going to want to be hitting all of those muscle groups at least twice a week. And if you do push-pull legs, it gives you 2 days of recovery between each workout session for any given muscle group. So I would highly recommend a push-pull legs split, but you know, at the end of the day, you can play around with it, do some research, and figure out what kind of split you want to be on personally. The next major component to bulking that you're going to want to be considering is food. And this honestly probably will be the hardest component of this for you. I know certainly for me it is. I struggle to intake even a normal amount of food. Like my appetite is basically like zero. I could be fine eating 1,000 to 1,500 calories a day, like if that was okay with my body. And I think that's the reason why a lot of us skinny guys are so skinny, is because we just don't have an appetite. And so with that, it's going to be a struggle. And I'm just gonna tell you that right out the gate. You're gonna be force feeding yourself, and it's not a pretty or an easy process. But there's a couple things that I've been able to do that you can do as well that's gonna make this process significantly easier for you. The first is that you are going to want to track everything that you eat. And this sounds super daunting up front, but trust me, if you just start doing this and you're consistent with it for like a week, it's gonna become like second nature to you, and it's gonna be super easy. And there's one big tool that you're gonna wanna use for that, and it's an app on your phone called MyFitnessPal. This app has like every food in existence, and all you have to do is scan the barcode on whatever food you are eating, and it'll tell you, or you can even just type in, like sometimes my mom will make something and I don't know what's in it, but I just type in like beef casserole, and I find something that looks like it has adequate macros. But what tracking your nutrition every single day, or just what you're eating, is going to do for you is it's going to give you an understanding of just how much food you're eating. We don't understand how little food we're actually eating just because we don't have an appetite like that. But when you're able to track it, you'll see like literally how many calories you need to eat. Not how many calories you need to eat, but how many calories you are eating, how much protein you're getting. But let's go into specifically the goals you should have in terms of nutrition. Number one, you want to be in a surplus of 500 calories in order for you to build mass. So what you want to do is go onto Google and type in BMR calculator. So that's basal metabolic rate calculator, and that's going to calculate how much fuel or how much energy or calories that your body burns just by you living life. So for me, that's around 26 to 2,800. I'd have to double check, but for you, that could really fall anywhere depending on your weight, your height, your age. Like there's a lot of different factors to it. So just go online and look it up, and then whatever that number is, it's probably going to be between 2,000 to 2,800. Just add 500 to that, and that is your goal to eat for the day. If you want to be hyper aggressive with this and you want to put on just a ton of mass and you don't care if it's muscle or fat and you just want to get big, add 1,000 to that and you're going to get big really quick. But make sure you're getting at least 500 calories above whatever your basal metabolic rate is, and you should be golden. Secondly though, you want to make sure that you're getting at least your body weight in protein, in grams of protein in every day. So for me, I weigh 155 pounds. So that means if I weigh 155 pounds, I need to be eating at least 155 grams of protein in order for me to be able to build muscle, because protein is one of the most key components to muscle protein synthesis, which is your body turning what you eat into bigger muscles. And so it doesn't matter how hard you work out in the gym, if you're not eating your protein, you're not getting your calories, you're not gonna have that excess energy that your body's then gonna convert into muscle, and you're not gonna get bigger. I'm probably gonna be making a whole separate video on like tips and tricks that I've found useful for bulking, especially once I get it figured out a little bit more, because the eating part is still something that I struggle with. But I'm gonna figure it out still, even more than I have. And as soon as I figure out just like an easy and consistent way to get in lots of food every day as someone who has the appetite of a bird, I'll let you know. Okay, the last pillar of the trinity of bulking is sleep. And this is another one that some people are gonna struggle with, and then some people aren't gonna struggle with. Someone like me, that's a struggle for me because I'm very busy. I run a business. Yeah, I have a lot going on. So sleep is difficult for me, but you're gonna wanna be to get maximum results at least 7 hours a night. You can be training a lot and you can be eating a lot, but if you don't sleep, sleep is actually when that muscle is built. So training is the stimulus that then triggers the muscle being built. The food is what fuels the muscle being built, and then sleep is the time where the muscle is primarily actually built. So if you're not sleeping, then you're not going to be building muscle. So you want to sleep at least 7 hours a night, and sleeping the right amount or the correct amount during the night is going to trigger fat loss and muscle growth. So let's say you're growing muscle and you just like pulse a lot of all-nighters, like you can still sometimes, like you can still build muscle, obviously not the same amount, but you're also going to be retaining a significantly higher amount of fat than you would have been if you were sleeping correctly. So you don't want that. I don't want that for you. Just as much as you can, promise me you're going to get your 7 hours of sleep, and trust me, it'll do volumes for you. Now that we've covered the 3 big things that you have to do in order to build muscle, let's talk about the most important things that you have to avoid, because again, you can be doing a lot of things right, but there are some other things beyond just like not sleeping, not eating, and not training that you need to avoid as well if you want to see maximum results in the transformation of your physique. And take it from a guy that transformed his physique pretty quickly. If you follow these steps and if you avoid these things, it'll do wonders for you. So the first thing that you're gonna wanna avoid is drinking. So really it's just gonna make you fluffy, small, and weak, so don't do that. Secondly, drugs. This should be pretty self-explanatory. Don't take drugs if you want to basically do well in life, period. And then you want to be avoiding, obviously, sleep deprivation, vaping, and I would just say like any and all other degenerate activities. I don't think I really have to go into depth here. Just avoid the degenerate activities and you're gonna see much better results in your life. And degenerate activities don't just mean like taking things, like it can be literally, something as simple as just like going on NoFap for like 3 months. There's a lot of really simple things that you can do that are going to be very helpful in your journey of building muscle and becoming an absolute unit. So let's take a little bit of a dive into my personal experience with this. I've found that in my journey, eating and sleeping has been the hardest part for me. Training 2 to 3 hours a day isn't hard. Like I get into the gym and I enjoy it. I put on my metal music. I throw down some pre-workout. Like I have a good time when I'm in the gym, but I hate eating and I don't really have time to sleep. Don't get me wrong, I love sleeping. If I could sleep a ton, I would, but I also have a business to run and a lot of responsibilities. So sleep is difficult for me and I hate eating. So I found that those two were the hardest. However, I found that tracking my nutrition was key for me, because then I didn't have to enjoy eating. I see a number on my phone screen and I know I have to eat a certain amount of numbers to reach an overall number. So it becomes a lot more scientific for me and I can just like force feed myself in order to get everything down. I actually have a funny story about this. So I remember, I think it was, I want to say 6 months ago, so pretty much halfway through my lifting journey, and I had a pretty aggressive goal of about 4,000 calories a day. That was my goal to intake and get everything down. And in order to hit that goal, I had to eat a very significant amount of food. It was bad. So one night I had literally thrown down 3 hamburgers and I was on a protein shake, and after that protein shake I would have been good for the day. So I threw down 3 burgers. I was like, bro, I feel super full right now. I don't want to drink this protein shake, but I'm like, whatever, I'm disciplined. I'm gonna throw it down and then I'm gonna feel better and I'm gonna get big muscles, blah, blah, blah. So I chugged this protein shake, but I don't like just like sip it. I chug this protein shake because I'm like, if I don't like throw this down and like shotgun it, like there's no way that I'm gonna be able to get this down. So I throw it down, but literally as soon as I do, I feel super sick to my stomach. Like imagine the worst stomach flu that you could ever get. that's what I was feeling, and I was like, shoot, like this is bad. So I was like, I feel like I need to throw up, but I don't want to throw up. Like I'm not gonna let myself throw up. But I'm like, but I need to go to the bathroom anyway, just in case I do throw up. So I went to the bathroom, and I was literally right by the toilet. I'm like, no, I can't throw up. This is food. These are calories that I need in my body. But it was like in that moment I knew I screwed up, because I was laying on the floor and I felt like I was about to like just let it all out, and I was like, oh shoot. So like I got up to like throw up in the toilet, but like right as I was getting up, like I don't know if you guys have seen The Exorcist, but that like one scene where there's that like demon possessed girl, and then she just like throws up like green stuff, and just like it's like a fire hydrant, just like, you know, it comes out of her mouth. Like that's what it was like. It literally felt like there was a demon inside of me that was just like, it was disgusting. Stuff all over my wall, and like it took forever to get the smell out, is all I'm gonna say. It was bad. I chugged this protein shake. All that to say, this won't necessarily be an easy journey for you. There's going to be difficulties, and there's going to be things that are easier for you and things that are harder for you, and you're gonna have fun, dumb, and kind of nasty stories to tell probably as well. So for like the first half a year of my lifting, I was just concerned with the lifting part. Like I didn't really pay attention to my eating. I didn't track my nutrition. I was just trying to lift weights and get stronger. But literally it wasn't until I started tracking my nutrition and like, you know, I started counting my calories and my protein that I actually started to see significant results in the gym, and I started to see like significant muscle growth. Before that, I was sure I was increasing like my muscle definition, but I really wasn't putting on a ton of size. So make sure you are eating a surplus, and make sure you're tracking your calories and your protein, and you're gonna be significantly better off than I was significantly sooner. All right, so we have covered a lot of ground today. Hopefully this helps you, and this gets your mind keyed in properly to the way you need to be thinking mentally about bulking, and what that process is actually going to look like for you. Just remember through all of this that everything I said is subjective. Everyone's body is going to be different, everyone's life is different, and no one is exactly like me. Like even if you trained and ate the exact way that I did and slept the exact way that I did, you may not look like I do, and I probably won't ever look the way that you do, and that's because we all have different genetics, different muscle inserts, this and that. So don't compare your progress to anybody else's progress. Just make sure you're doing the right things and you're taking the right steps every single day, and before you know it, you're going to be reaching your goals. So again, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, shoot them down in the comments below, or shoot me a DM at Ryan X Shipley, which is my Instagram. Also shoot it a follow as well, and I'll definitely be able to get back to you and give you guys any further advice or answer any questions that you have. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, give me a follow, and subscribe as well, and I will see you guys next week in the next video. Peace.